Hi everyone, Emily Diamond here. Was working with a client last night around their expectations of how much concern they carry around their business, their leadership, and generally in their life. And I had to tell the truth to her. My experience of working for 14 years as a coach and consultant, from micro businesses to massive corporations and all the spaces in between, is that the most intelligent people, the people with the highest IQ and the highest EQ and the biggest visions, suffer the most. They suffer the most with anxiety, and they suffer the most with, unhealthy things like paranoia about other people having negative intentions, all the things that can go wrong and the ways that they are possibly failing or letting people down. Now, obviously, people with high IQ and high EQ, there's a ability to do what we call scenario mapping, where they predict what could happen. They do precognition. They run through and go, actually, if I take this one step here, it could lead to these 15 other follow-on consequence steps. Now that is a lot of very high level cognitive processing. We call it cognitive load. And in case you guys didn't know this, our nervous system, our brain, our body does not actually have a distinction between what is real and what is imaginary. What is real as in what I can touch, what I can see, what I can taste, smell, and is actually happening in reality and in my real environment. We don't have a skill that tells us the difference between that and what is an illusion, what is imaginary, what we are just thinking about in terms of this could happen and that could happen and they could do this and maybe that person over there was thinking this and that's why they acted that way and then that's going to mean all of these things. So the people with the highest intellect can do the most precognition, which means they're vulnerable. Essentially, highly intelligent people are vulnerable to a whole bunch of kind of garden variety, generalized mental health challenges, and then into much more specialized and specific ones. So this discussion last night where I was like, I just have to tell her the truth. I have to tell the truth. She's got a crazy off the charts IQ. She's got a very high level of emotional intelligence. And the truth is, you are vulnerable. You are. You are a vulnerable person. Because of that vulnerability, you need strategy. And that strategy is around how you reduce your cognitive load, how you actively engage with reality instead of cognitive activity and cognitive wheel spinning, which highly intelligent people get into cycles of. It cannot be avoided. You have that as a strength. You're going to run with that strength. Now, that can sound for a lot of people like, oh, that's really sad. Like, I'm a vulnerable person because of that. I used to relate to it like that. I used to be saddened and upset by that thing of, oh, right, so I'm prone to getting overwhelmed and depressed and wanting to withdraw and use relief strategies like I did, smoking, drinking, taking drugs, having toxic relationships and codependency. Those were all coping strategies for that level of vulnerability. I just needed a different set of strategies. Like, cut and dry, at the end of it all, there was healing to be done and traumas to be resolved and strategies for that. Absolutely, that's what a coach does, and that's what I spend my time, attention, energy, one-on-one and in groups doing. Those strategies simply then override and meet the needs of those older, less effective, less healthy strategies. So we are definitely playing a strategy game when we're talking about this vulnerability. And, like I said, we're looking at things that reduce your cognitive load. So planning work, working on metrics, working on reality, and then actual conditioning around how to interact with reality versus interact with your own thought process is a very critical set of strategies to learn. And then, of course, dealing with real people, having real conversations and being really interacted with in a deep, connected, true and raw way around what is really going on. What am I saying to myself about reality? Am I continually distorting everything to be about some sort of failure? Or am I continuing to distort everything to be about some sort of loss? Am I continuing to distort everything to be about some way that I haven't done something right? Because that is what humans do, and the people with even higher levels of intelligence who can do those extra layers of cognitive activity and go that extra mile, they simply have a bigger load, which means they need bigger support and bigger strategy. If you look back on artists and creatives and scientists and effective social and political leaders, it's not just that they had incisive, penetrating thought about things. You'll also learn things about their lives where they had strategies to manage that cognition. They did processes, they did techniques, and they either were helped with that by getting mentored or supported by other exceptional thinkers, or they had to learn through their own mistakes. So my life has been a collection of learning from masters and all their incredible teaching and training and transformational techniques, and making a bunch of my own mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes for a long time, and I still do. I'm still learning. I'm still also uncovering parts of me that I didn't know were limited. And that's obviously why then, I'll work with particular coaches and mentors for periods of time, a couple of years at a time, and then like, oh great, okay, I'm going to move on to the next one who's going to meet my needs. And that's exactly how I expect it with my clients as well. And I encourage them and say, there's going to be a time where you grow out of me. And I want that time. That's actually how I know that I've won, is if they've grown out of me. Okay, now on that, if you're someone who knows that you deal with all that kind of generalized overthinking, overanalysis, I want to, first of all, pay you the compliment that that's reflective of your cognitive capacity. And yeah, with that, there's extra care you require. And if you want to talk to me about how you get that kind of support, let me know. I'm doing my last couple. Obviously, there's only like really a week left until I go away for end of year. But the initial consults people do with me, they double in price in 2019. So if you want to do one of those sessions with me where we get right to the source of what's going on, we look at what your intentions are, what your goals are, all the stuff from your past that's relevant, whether it be to do with your business or whether it's just you in your personal life. We go through that deep dive analysis, and then I give you a report and a plan, and that plan really is telling you which techniques we'd be doing, which transformational teachings we'd be doing, how long that takes. It's very customized to you. So that process, like I said, it doubles. Currently it's $297, times that by 2 for 2019. You can do that process in 2019 with me if you wish to at a 2018 price. You just have to purchase it before December 31. And that's available on my website, so you can track it really easily, jump in there and grab it. If you want to have a chat though about if that's right for you, then I'd happily give you a 30-minute free call. That's my process to get to know you and connect with you and see if we are actually connected and we've got some good chemistry. Because then going and doing an initial consult, if we don't have that chemistry, it can be very dry. So reach out to me, get in touch. I know someone got in contact with me yesterday saying all those booking spots were full in my calendar. Yes, they are, but you can reach out to me via PM and I can see if I can find a little time to fit you in around my other meetings and trainings next week. Okay, send me a PM if that's you, and signing off, wishing you all a great day. Oh, and also for all the women who are in this group, shout out to all the ladies, make sure you come over to our Mojo Boss Lady group, which is a private women's group. So there's just a different style of conversation that it's really just tailored for women. So it's called Mojo Boss Lady, and it's a private Facebook group. If you can't find it, feel free to PM me and I can add you personally. Okay, bye loves.